postcolonialism makes us think about the same situation in different ways.
This slide is an illustration of how international relations theories might foreground some issues in mining projects. The issues on the left are of the utmost importance to the mining company, and the issues on the right are of the utmost importance for the host community or perhaps the host government. On the left, we see all the rationalist issues that are very easily measurable for a mining company, such as its possession of mining rights, the existence of a legal contract, the drawing up of an EIA, the existence and negotiation of development agreements and access agreements, and a defined social program. These are issues which are very easy to measure and which mining companies like to achieve in a parallel or sequential fashion to advance the mining project. Those issues on the right are much more reflectivist and are mostly to do with how the receiving government or the receiving community might view the mining project. The desire for respect and the desire for recognition might be paramount in the host government. The community might be extremely concerned about the water issues that it may suffer, the loss of identity to do with its land, other fears and concerns about the ingress of strangers in the area, impacts on the environment, impacts on its rights and traditions. Will it get a chance to participate in the project? And does it trust that the players and actors from its own government and from the mining company that come into the area? These issues, illustrated by the foregrounding method, show the diversity of issues that impact a typical mining project. And the mining company should be very aware it has to give equal importance to the issues that are of the utmost importance to the community or government as it progresses with the project. And for this reason, foregrounding is an extremely useful tool to analyze the scope and breadth of communication and of thinking that needs to go into a typical large-scale modern mining project.
If you look at the post-colonial aspect of perspectivalism, look at the 20th century history. The 20th century history to most West-centric countries, or European countries in the United States, revolved around the First World War, the Second World War, and then the Cold War. But you look at the former colonies, probably their most important dates was the date of independence, or the date that they changed the constitution, something to do with the way that their country grew. But the relevance of those major conflicts that the Western countries focused on is not that great. And then we talk about the Cold War. The Cold War to Western countries in the USA was a Cold War because it was fought somewhere over there, mostly in former colonies. And there's some former colonies where the Cold War wasn't very cold at all. This perspectivalism, this ability to look at the opinions of other actors in the mining projects and the mining game is for me very important.
If I'm looking to make a meal of some kind that requires a complex recipe, it doesn't make sense that I would cook that meal without the recipe book, right? In a similar notion, you wouldn't want to analyze protesters' demands about a certain environmental issue without environmental theory, or understand economic effects on a project without having some element of economic theory or an understanding of how markets work. So it just so happens that in our field, international relations theory is especially applicable because it uses all those different theories at once. So from our approach, we're able to actually garner all these different theories to be able to foreground our given conclusions in the best available data and an awareness of all the implications that a given demand might actually mean. And when you're able to create a business model that accounts for all those different factors, then your business model itself, your strategic growth imperative, is a lot more likely to be achieved.